Now we have been able to do a little bit background work on what makes a customer, what makes service excellent, and what are the traits of an impeccable service provider. One of it I mentioned is that paying attention to details, learning how to act, learning how to get the best from your customer, and becoming the go-to person that the customer really needs to do business with. One of the things I also mentioned is our ability to take up responsibility, becoming problem solvers, always looking for opportunities to serve the customers more than required, and following up, trying to apologize when services go unprepared and as we do not anticipate it, and get some of the things that we needed to do too. However, in the second module, we're going to talk about understanding the whole concept of customer service and the concept of service delivery. So in that space, we will be talking about how service delivery is important and how service is critical and can make things work for us. The service is important in the fact that it is the connecting dots that make us continue to have some kind of relationship with the customer. So understanding that a service does not end at the point of selling a product, but still continues in the sense of after sales service, and also upselling, cross-selling, and possibly giving opportunity to future purchases in the time past, keeping up information and finding out what the customer is going through and what the customer might need going forward are critical ways to make sure that these things happen and gets up to speed. Now, I mentioned earlier on about the need to get customers to get a whole lot of things done, and the first thing is that we need to understand this prism. They say customers are always right, or customer is king. To you, do you believe customers are always right, or do you believe that customer is king? For me, I think customers are not always right and customers are not always king, but customers must be made right all the time, and eventually they must be turned to becoming a king too. What it means in essence is that you must treat customers specially, you must make them enamored to you, you must make them, you must endear them to you, you must worship them, you must be passionate enough to serve them, and you must guide and guard them jealously from your competitors. The reason is that competitors are out there and they are ready to get your customers. Your ability to retain them will be a function of your ability to offer excellent services all the time. Now, sometimes customers can be very nasty, they could be very funny, they could even sometimes want to hurt your business. You, as a salesperson or a customer service rep, you must be able to know how to put limits and limitations. Businesses, organizations have been able to do that by coming up with business policies, business terms and conditions, and all of that. So once a customer does not go against your terms and conditions, meets your business policy, but there are just a little bit of teething problems here and there, your own goal is to ensure that you make them right and you serve them to the best of your ability. And customers are not right because they don't know what they're doing. They're not right because you have not been able to lead them to the right part of the business. So your ability to lead your customer to the right part of the business is actually important to actually making them right at all the time. If a customer has issues, it's on you, and the way you treat that customer is important, and it can help you to sustain that relationship, and some cases make you get more businesses by way of referrals and the way of word of mouth advertising. Over and again, we are always remembered, we are almost reminded that Customers needs to be met, and not just met, it must be exceeded. When you constantly challenge your processes as a customer service person or a salesperson, make sure your processes are simplified, your processes are easy to understand, your processes are important, they have the capacity and the ability to continue to put that customer in your business space. Immediately, the moment you are unable to meet customers' need, they tend to move on to the next business. Your ability to actually make this perpetuation continue will be a function of your ability and your intention to continue serving them as appropriate. One of the things you need to do is to ensure that customers leave you happy. Whenever they come to your space, ensure that they are happy, they know what they are feeling, they know what they are faced, and they are ready to play ball with you and follow you. And most of the time, you must be able to make sure that they have this wow moment. Wow moment is important in every service relationship. When services are exciting and they're excellent, it does a lot of things to you, and there are so many benefits that's attached to delivering excellent service, and one of it is that it helps you become more productive by way of having repeat businesses. When businesses are coming in as in speed, in droves, it grows your business. As a matter of fact, when businesses are slowed down and you have very unpredictable productivity cycles, of course it can hamper your business, it hampers your cash flow, it hampers your expansion plans, and it can equally hamper your even your sustenance plan. So one of the things that excellent customer does is that it can increase your productivity by way of having repeat businesses. It's also a cheap advertisement. When customers are served excellently well, they go out to tell more people about your service. When you treat them bad too, you can be rest assured that they're also going to go out to talk about you. So what would you want the customers to talk about you in the market behind you? And some, they could call you out on social media. This is the day of social media call outs, and we unfortunately live in a moment of cancel culture whereby people do not bother to ask about what someone else has alleged you of, but they just go ahead and start talking bad and speaking bad and going bad about you. Another thing that excellent service does is it makes you become a leader in your industry. So businesses that have excellent service become the leaders in the market space, and their revenues are expanding every day. You could see Tesla has an exciting balance sheet, Amazon has an exciting balance sheet, Facebook has exciting balance sheets, and because every day they are getting sign-ons, they are getting new people join their platform and their businesses. And this is important because they've been able to understand what it takes to offer excellent service to their customer. And eventually, when businesses are improving, monies are coming in, you are a leader in the industry, obviously it brings forth confidence in the market and even credibility on the part of your team. Customers like you to adhere to some things, some commandments. I say they want, this is what customers like, and a service provider must actually understand that the customer must always be satisfied. Make sure that the customer is always satisfied when they come to your space. You remember that you must always be a step ahead of your customers, and you must anticipate. Businesses that are proactive are cashing out, while businesses that are reactive had lost a lot of customers and probably a bit out of business. This COVID-19 has actually exposed businesses that have reactive strategies One of it, well, one of this is what I am actually doing now. I'm actually having a presentation, and I hope this will get to more than 1 million people all over the world. I wouldn't have been able to do this on a physical space, but because technology has come and we've been able to embrace technology, it's easier for us to do stuffs like this. And you can see our presentation, and you can actually have a personal feel of the as I speak about what I'm actually presenting to you. Also have to honor your customers, honor the ones in the office that you are colleagues, suppliers, or the ones that are actually the buyers of the business. You need to also learn to deliver what you promised. Never fail to keep a promise that you had made to a customer. This it can damage your brand when you do not focus on meeting customers' need. You need to also respect respect the customer, and you need to respect the market too, so that you know what the market needs, and you'll be able to give what the market needs at every particular point in time. Sometimes customer comes to your place and they have issues. Some could be life threatening and some could be petty. The most dangerous thing you can do is to laugh out loud at whatever they've said. They did not come for a comedy session, or did they come for you to laugh at them? They have problems and they're paying you bills, so you cannot just laugh at them and walk away as if they do not matter. It's not your problem that they are with you. And also you need to continue to innovate. When customers come to you to make complaints, this is a perfect time for you to know how to improve your processes and increase your process. So for customers commandment, you should always keep them satisfied. You should stay ahead of the game with them. You should honor both your internal and external customer, deliver the value that you've said you will do, and show respect while you're delivering that. Do not take your customers for granted. Do not laugh at them when they come to your space. It's abominable to do that. And you must make innovation and creativity a watchword in your business space. The right attitude is service, and that means that you must be able to develop an attitude of openness, attitude of warmness, an attitude of receptiveness. You should be receptive if you intend to be a service champion, and if you want to expand and retain your customer base, you must be able to have the right attitude to serve them. And having an interesting attitude will probably make you continue to be in that business space. You don't have to be nasty to a customer, you don't have to be rude to a customer, and you don't have to cow to a customer. So there must be a thin line between being humble and being timid. Customers do not also like people that are timid. They want people that speak with authority and are able to make things happen for them. So this is one of the things that you also need to know, that other tips that you need to know in developing the right attitude. You know that the ability to serve at this particular time is a big opportunity. All over the world there is high level of unemployment, and anyone that has the opportunity to serve a customer now actually has it's a privilege to serve at this particular point in time. So it's a honor to serve at this particular point in time. So when you serve at this particular point in time, you can be sure that you are one of the people that are productive all over the world, and that is, in my own opinion, an humble position to look into and to make the best out of. You also need to develop dignity in what you do. You must love your job, you must love your business, you must love your career, you must not be ashamed, and because you also must love your work. You must love your work. You need to copy from the people that been doing it the best. Copy from the best, and try to do what is important for you and try to get the best out of your processes and your ideas. Another thing is that you just have to learn how to serve and fix problems. You need to learn how to fix problems. You need to trust and treat your customers like human beings. Don't treat them like numbers. Don't think they are interrupting your business. The reason why you are actually employed, that's why you have to go beyond the minimum and to make your customers love you. People that if you want to offer excellent service, you must be interested in people. When you are interested in people, it shows, and they will appreciate you and they love you for who you are. And obviously, before you set service standard, you must check out your vision and your mission statement and to see where the alignment is coming from, and if the alignment is actually an interesting one. So in understanding customer service and understanding service delivery, it's important that you adhere to the commandments, ensure that you treat customers with courtesy, ensure that customers needs are met urgently. You must appreciate customers are key to your businesses. They are not interrupters to your business. They are part of the business. In fact, they make the business operate. In the next module, we'll be talking about the skill sets, the competencies, the attitudes, and also the expectations of the customer service rep and how it impacts on the business, so to speak. So these are the things that we'll talk about, and these are the things that will help us understand our businesses better and grow our businesses effortlessly as we do that. If you intend to know more about customers and all of that, it's important that you constantly ask them, because that's the easiest way to get to know more about them. And you need to ask them what they want and how it affects and impacts their businesses and all of that. Of course, your services should be realistic. They should be smart, and ensure that you get the best out of it. Now, one of the things that you need to do is to constantly evaluate your service processes, know what your services are, know what they can do, and ensure that you are doing what you say your services are actually doing. Another thing is that there must be flexibility and adaptability in your service standards. Most businesses get problems when there's no uniformity and there's no generally accepted and acceptable standard within the organization, standard for operations, standard for management, standard for reacting to customers and all of that. So as an organization, this must be put in place, and this will help grow the business per se. And sometimes businesses will not go as we have envisaged or as we have planned. There will be service failure, and sometimes that's when results that we expect did not happen. And of course, these are times that our promises to customers actually are failed. Then how do we intend to solve this and ensure that the occurrence are as much as possible reduced, if not eliminated? One of the things that cause service failure is a mishap of technology. Sometimes our technology might not be perfect, or we might have issues with technology. We must ensure that we use the best technology to service our customer, ensure that while we're using technology, we have turnaround time that are in line with global best practices for the kind of services that we need to do and all of that. You also have to ensure that turnaround time for process management is also important too, because when process management, when the turnaround time is poor, you know that it could lead to service failure too. Now, sometimes these are things that go beyond the immediate organization. If you're a student of management and of course business growth, you know about SWOT analysis that talks about strengths, weaknesses, opportunities and threats. Some threats, which could be government policy and instability, might lead to service failure. And what would you do at that particular point in time as a brand, as a business? That's why you need to have business continuity plans that ensure that service are provided as at when you are provided in a standardized format, no matter the disruption in business and in the market space. And also the bureaucracy that comes with approvals and processing and all of that can also make businesses to fail and services to not come through as you've expected them. So those are some of the things, and other sources that infrastructure. When there's no infrastructure for sustaining growth, it becomes challenging, and it becomes something that is really out of the ordinary to solve and to resolve. Sometimes there could be skills mismatch that's coming from the employees themselves, and they're not the perfect fit for that role. It could lead to service failure, and that affects retention. Sometimes when you have goals that are not clear, goals that are not smart, goals that are not specific, they cannot be measured, they are not realistic, and they don't have any sense of urgency that you attach time to them. This could lead to failure in service, sometimes to impatience on the part of the customer or the service rep could cause failure in service. And of course, I jump back again to bureaucracy. Bureaucracy is always a culprit in most organizations, because most organizations, in a bid to have a seamless and simplified or uniform way of doing things, then overcomplicate them. These are things you don't want to get involved in at the moment, and these are things that could help businesses. So in understanding businesses, you know that at some point there could be failure in delivery. Once there is failure in delivery, and how would you ensure to make sure that those things are actually resolved and all of that? And we can see that one of the things is that it's always good to admit where you need to recalibrate and reposition and apologize to the market and let them know about that. Recently, MTN apologized to the market in the Nigerian market when they had issues, and they returned data that was used within that week, and that was a very good gesture. And some people wouldn't have noticed, but the fact that the organization came on board and spoke about it actually shows transparency, accountability, and that is the way to go in this new business space. Sometimes so the reason why we have service failure is because we did not get the correct order or get the correct position of the customer. So it's always important when you are when you are relating with the customer, make sure that you reconfirm what the customer needs. It's always good, so that you touch base with the customer and you know that you are on the same page with him or her. And when issues like service failure arises, it's good to act fast and shift blame to whoever you want to shift later, not in that immediate process and all of that. You also need to follow up on the customer to find out whether these problems have been solved. Now you need to follow up with the customer, and in that you also need to probably provide more solutions and ask for more business. In this time when you have service failure, you can feel embarrassed and unmotivated to ask for more business, but it's also a time to also request that customer does more business with you and give you another chance to solve the problems and all of that. Then when processes don't get right, I believe strongly that that is when it is good to look at new ways of doing things and improving the system. When the whole exercise has to do with commitment, the commitment and trust. Recall that when I started earlier on, I said businesses are becoming advisory because customers have almost all the information they need due to the impact of the internet. Now, the only way that customers, and most of the time customers come to us, is for clarity and confirmation, and to look for someone that is highly professional in what they are looking for. So these are the ways we can get the best out of our activities and do the best that we need to do as we go forward. In the subsequent presentation, we will be looking at about the skill sets and of service champions and how they can get to operate. Thank you. So in the second module, we've spoken at length on how to about further understanding service delivery. Sometimes service do not come the way you expect it, so there could be failure on the part of the customer or on the part of the business. As a matter of fact, these are times where it becomes easy for you to improve on the processes and help your processes become better.